Okay then, I wrestled that bench seat out and got it out here on the ground. Boy, that's a pain in the neck to deal with that. It's kind of boing, 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 but it's out. So you know what that means. It means we get to see what the carpet looks like underneath. And this is going to be, you know, it's like a car wreck. You can't help but look. You know you want to look, so let's look. Okay, well, let's just kind of check off the list here. Dirt from feet, check. Random stains of unknown material, check. Dog hair, check. Something that may or may not be medicine, check. Dried food, check. Debris from the seat cushion coming apart, check. Money that could have been used for a pack of cigarettes, check. Dead battery, check. More dead food, check. Just a complete pile of junk, dirt, check. Okay, so I guess I'll subject my shop vac to the torture of trying to vacuum the worst of this up. I need to go get my mask in there too, and then I'll get this box out and start getting the accoutrement separated out so we can pull this carpet out. Check. I smell gas coming from under here somewhere. I gotta check that out, I guess. Like a gas vapor leak.
You're ruining those screws. You don't know how to run a damn drill.
Well, why did that not come out? Oh, very good. Because it's a hole broke in it. Holes broke out. Right there. That must be the module that's under it. Round Tool Products Textron Incorporated, 11/21/98. Round Tool. There's a Round Tool, Illinois. I wonder if that's what they're talking about. Yeah, put that on the list, I guess. Check this out. All you good old boys that like to run your traps about Mexico and Mexicans and build the wall and all that good crap, well, check this speaker out. This is one of the original speakers, I guess, in this truck. I'm sure it is, because it's got the original connector still on it. There it is. You're riding around with some Audio Latina made in Mexico speakers right here in your Dodge pickup. What a hypocrite, huh? You're driving a Dodge pickup that's made in Mexico with Mexican Audio Latina speakers in it, but yet when you're in front of somebody that you feel like wants to hear it, you can run your mouth and say, I don't like them damn Mexicans. We don't need them in here. Well, be that as it may, but those damn Mexicans built your truck, bud. This reminds me of dragging a corpse out of somewhere. Not that I've ever done that. Okay then, in typical Huntsville fashion, the rain is just not gonna let up. So I've locked myself in the truck out here where it's dry, and I'm dealing with something that I haven't done in a while. I used to do a lot of this, but I'm working on some stereo speakers, and I'm actually putting in the factory speakers again. And what was going on was I had one over here, rear speaker. It looks like it's about a 6-inch, something like that, I think. And they bolt in right there. And the first thing that was wrong with that one was it was connected and it worked, but it was no longer bolted to the truck. It was just kind of hanging in there. I don't know who got in there and disconnected that, but somebody along the way felt like they had a need to do that, and they thought they were improving it, I guess, or they were bored, or they were just plain stupid. I don't know which. So that was that. So I knew I had one good speaker, and that is one of these, as I already showed you, Audio Latina, made in Mexico speakers. How do you guys that love these trucks so much, how you like that? I like that it's called Audio Latina. It's a Dodge, but you got some of them there Mexican speakers in there. And it looks like the date code, 314-8. I think this truck was made in December. So over here was where somebody had the good redneck stereo upgrade going, which was a home stereo speaker that attaches to a computer or something like that. It's not no business being in a vehicle. But since they ain't got no money, ain't got no money to put better speakers in, ain't got no money to do nothing, that's what they did. So I promptly threw that thing away and got rid of it. It's gone. It's never coming back. So what I had to do with that was, since there was no longer a speaker in there, they again felt like there was a need to take that 6-inch factory speaker out totally. You know, that's a trend about this. People have this overruling compulsion. If something like is not good or breaks or is no longer workable or stops functioning, they have this overpowering urge just to get rid of it totally. So it's not there. Does your air conditioner quit working? Just take it out. Take everything out. Take the compressor and the evaporator, every damn little piece of it out, so there's no chance you can ever repair it again. And now you've made yourself not have air conditioning. You've made yourself not fix it. Speaker in the way, just take it out and throw it away so it's never there anymore. But anyway, that's where I come in. I fix stuff like this. I reverse bad decisions. So went on to the junkyard, and I've got some other stuff I'll show you too in another video. But I scarfed through all these Dodge Ram trucks, and I was looking for speakers, and I was originally just going to buy one more of these Audio Latina. Do you know what Latina means? In Mexican? That's right, it's in Mexican, not in Spanish, in Mexican. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But what I found was, I found a good pair of these speakers, which go right in there, because these are the Chrysler Infinity speakers. They are not Audio Latina. And as you can see, the magnets and therefore the power probably and the response of these speakers, the ones in the back, are significantly larger. So like I said, they'll go right in there. It's a nice upgrade. The only problem I ran into is that wire was chopped off, the connector was gone, and then when I got in here looking at this connector, this goes to the factory Audio Latina version. Of course, it's not the same connector. It doesn't work on that. That's a different connector. Now, how much money you think that Chrysler had to invest to engineer a different connector when that connector there would probably work perfectly? But no, they couldn't do that. They had to make a different connector. It's a different speaker, it's a different connector. But anyway, I was smart enough that I chopped off the right connectors, because I had a feeling I was going to have them, and guess what? I had to have them. So anyway, I'm just basically tying in the those. I have to chop that connector off and wire in the connector that goes to these speakers in its place. And another gotcha is easily found. I went on the internet and found up the trouble codes. Found up the speaker color codes, which for a 99 was no problem to find. But then I kept looking for the later versions, like 2000. I think these speakers came out of 01. So I was looking for this, and as you can see clearly, those are not the right color codes. And what I mean by that is, I didn't say that right, but what happened was I kept looking up for 2000, 2001, and they kept repeating these color codes. It's like people, they don't know any better. They don't try to make sure they're telling you the accurate information. So you keep finding these color codes. That's not right, because I'm looking right at this wire that I pulled out of the factory wire, and I know it was a factory because it's taped up and it was in a clip. And those aren't the same color codes whatsoever. So they match. this is actually, I says 2001, but the closest I found was a 2002, which is a newer body style. And they've got right rear, they've got tan and violet and tan and black, so that appears to match these. There's a tan and violet and a tan and black, so that will work for that one. But this one over here, the ones that came with the speakers, they are white and green and white and whatever that color is there. Is that purple? Violet? And that's not what it says. That says white and red and white and black. That's not accurate whatsoever. So I could never find any reference to those color codes anywhere. So I don't know what the deal is with that. Be that as it may, we are going to go with the way I've wired it up there, and it should work. I think I've got the polarity correct on it. I did some more digging, but that's the kind of stuff you run into. You find that sometimes it's accurate information, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's not. We don't know. They're all the same. And people post things in forums. You ask them in forums, do the same thing. Post the same erroneous information over and over and over again. They don't know if it's right or wrong. They just keep posting it. So if you're going to do stuff like this, it pays to research and research and research, and don't take the first answer you get as the gospel. Make sure you're doing it right. Make sure you got the right color codes, and go from there. So okay guys, I'm going to continue on in the sauna here. I was noticing over here also my carpet got wet again after I put it back in, and you see it or not, but you can see daylight past that seal. Somebody, I guess, locked the keys in the truck and they ruined the window seal up there. I gotta find another one of those. So, right. Thanks for watching. See ya. Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? Well, I have been on a journey, and it's not been on a journey of self-discovery. It's been on a journey of used Ram pickup parts, and I've been spending most of my vacation week looking for some parts to cheap upgrade this truck I got now. I never had one of these before, so I never had to look for any parts for them, never had to work on them, never had to do anything to them except see them drive by. So anytime I buy something like this off of Craigslist, it's always invariably going to need work, and this one's no exception. It's just a little rough around the edges, and I just really don't like rough around the edges when it comes to something I can fix pretty easily. So anyway, this truck is what it is. It's a cheap truck. It does run and drive, and that's what matters the most. So anyway, I thought I would show you what I've come up with after junkyard trips to 2 different states and to 4 different junkyards. I've looked at approximately 37 junked Dodge Ram pickups from 1994 through 01. 02 model years when they changed them, so nothing interchanges really. So anyway, here we go. That's it. No joke. The pickings are slim out there. I've learned quickly that these trucks all suffer the same broken parts, and so if a truck's been there more than a couple weeks in the junkyard, if it's got anything good, desirable left on it, it's gonna be gone pretty soon. So anyway, first thing I snagged was this center console, and the reason I got that is because look at this one. It looks like something has been chewing on it. I don't know if somebody got mad and just poked a hole in it or what they did, but anyway, it's not too good a condition. So I picked that one up, and you may also notice that over there's a chunk of upholstery right beside it. Right there, it's a piece of a seat cover, and and a big chunk of foam underneath it. And here's my idea on that, or was my idea. I've got another idea now I'm about to tell you, but ain't no find another one of these seats in there. They're all junk. So, you know, this is the upgraded version of the seats, and then some of them came with a split bench that didn't have an armrest, and they've got different upholstery. And then of course there was darker upholstery and lighter upholstery. This one has a lighter, and so 37 of them, and not one of them had a good driver's seat. So this seat comes out by itself. It's got, of course, it's got mounting points under there to mount it to the floor, and then it's got 2 bolts in there that got these little brackets that come up and attach it to the middle cushion. So you can, in other words, you can take this out. So my thinking was, I found a piece of a seat up there that was okay, so I carved off that piece of upholstery, and my first intention was just to repair this one. But I have a different idea now. I noticed the last place I went was not too far away, and I found a good passenger bottom. So you see where this is going. I think I can take this seat out and take that junkyard seat and take it apart at the junkyard, and I think I can just get the bottom and put over here and just change them out, because generally, now this may blow up in my face and may not work, but generally speaking, these seats disassemble, and you can change out the bottoms and leave the seat tracks. You know, you can leave the part it sits on, that can stay here, but you can take this part off and you can take it off the back. So, you know, it's a simple philosophy I have. If something was put together, it can come apart. So the back of this seat's okay. It doesn't have any problems. It's okay. But this bottom is junk. It's gone. So that's the idea. You see, it's already been, I just vacuumed this carpet out. It's already been throwing pieces of foam out. So that's the idea for that. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Also, I've already went ahead and put it in. I got another door pin switch. The center was, like Uncle Phil says, gone. That plunger was gone, but it's actually in the dash up there. And my idea is that somebody just pulled it out so it wouldn't work anymore. I don't think it fell apart, because none of the other ones were broken like that. So it's in and it's working. Because I'll tell you something, people that are up to no good, they're like roaches. They don't like the light. So that's why they're always out after dark, and that's why they disable interior lights. So also in conjunction with that deal there, I've got 2 door seals that were actually good ones. I actually found 2 good door seals, you can believe that, because the one on the left not too bad. This has got a little tearing in it, but this one over here, somebody, I guess, well, yeah, I can tell they have, because the door's kind of pulled out a little bit.
Somebody be locking them keys in that truck.
And so they messed up the door seal real bad over here, so it's junk. It's leaking water, actually. And this thing doesn't really have another door seal. That's it. You see all the scratches. So anyway, so I got one of those. A lot of the stuff I got over at LKQ's, they're having their 40% off sale today, this weekend. So I got those, and I got a battery hold down that I had to piece together from 2 or 3 different trucks. I think I got the bolts from one bolt from one of them, one bolt from another truck, and the hold down itself from another truck. So, because the bolts, these things, here's the battery box also, I got one of those. Because these little hold downs down here rust real bad, and so my truck does not have this outer one, and I don't see it coming off very easily, so I decided just to go ahead and get the whole thing and be done with it, because this one had 2 good ones in it. So now we get rid of the shoestring, and then this is a negative battery cable. Looks like it's in pretty decent shape. I'm going to kind of clean it up and get the rust off of it and all that, because that one that's on it now is hacked. It's got one of those aftermarket crappy ends on it, and it's all just kind of stuck together, so that ain't gonna work. So I've been looking for a positive. I found a couple positives, but I thought I had one today that was almost all the way off, but some idiot cut one of the ends off of it. So thank you, random guy for doing that. Couple more audio Latina speakers got from the Junkyard for the doors, because the door speakers for whatever reason don't seem to work. So like I said, 40% off sales, so I might as well grab them. My whole bill was at $40 on that and that and that and that. So and here's the coup de grace. If you look at that word spelled out, it says like coup de grace. That's not how you say it. That was coup de grace. Here's the grill. So at the grill you seen just now, that grill is in bad shape up there. It's got no chrome left on it. It's got no emblems. It's got no style. So I was at the last Junkyard. I was up in Tennessee, and I stopped at the last place that had any of these trucks, and we were starting to get the remnants of the Harvey thing, and it's starting to rain, and it was getting gloomy, and I was just kind of thinking to myself, I was sitting there in the turn lane, I was thinking, do I want to turn and go here, or I just want to keep going home? What'd I do? I said, the heck with it, I'll go on and go. So anyway, that turned out to be an excellent junkyard. It's called Express Pull and Save, I think is the name of it, and there's two of them, but this one is the one that's in Laverne, Tennessee, and that's not spelled the way Laverne and Shirley spelled it. It's spelled L-A, then it's V-E-R-G-N-E, Laverne, Tennessee. You can look that up if you want to. But anyway, they had several of these trucks in there, and wouldn't you know, there was two of them left in there with a grill, usable grill on them. The other one I didn't get because it had kind of a scarf across it right there. But I had given up on finding a grill. There was no grills to be had. They were gone. These things go. There's a high demand for them, I guess. So anyway, this one is usable. It's not perfect. The chrome is peeling a little, starting to lift on this one. You know, that when I see stuff like that, when I see a truck, this was like a 97 or 98 truck. You know, when I see this stuff like this, like the grill's got chrome peeling off of it, and then you look at a foreign car or truck like this that has none of this happening, it just tells me that, you know, this was made cheap, 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 cheap. I don't care who made it. I don't care whose name's on it. It's just cheap. So these grills are cheap, cheaply made, and this one has the problems that they all have, and that is that the two tabs on each end are broken because this thing is, they put this thing on the hood, so when you, and one thing is when people are lifting the hood up, they grab it down here, they grab the grill and they pull on it by accident when they're lifting the hood up, and it stresses that, so they break, and those are all broken. So I'm going to work on that and maybe use some tie wraps to tie that to the truck. But the connections up here, the ones up here are okay, so it'll work for the money I paid for, like $20. It'll work. So this is kind of like Volvo parts in a way. It's like you don't go get perfect parts at the junkyard, you just find stuff that's less broken. But anyway, enough of that. Crap, complain. Anyway, I'm glad to have it and all that. So I'm gonna get going on some of this stuff this afternoon and get tired of running around. It's Labor Day weekend. I just want to hang out here now. So, oh boy, time to turn the camera off. Gross. What was up behind that nasty old hood insulation? Okay, well, I'm working my way through taking off all these old busted and rusted fasteners, and this is something I noticed real quick about this truck. This thing was all rusted around here. This grill surround was, bracket I guess, frame. So I put some rust neutralizer on it. I'll go back over it with some kind of coating, but there's rust and rust. And the thing about it is, this is not a northern truck at all. This is just from the south. I'd hate to see what one of these does in the north. But this sort of stuff right here, this is, I'll tell you why that is. That's because when they built this thing, they didn't use CAD plated fasteners. So this is just basically bare steel. Or it had some sort of inadequate kind of coating on it, but either way, it didn't last. So as a consequence, they're all rusted and all yucky looking. I don't know, it had some sort of something on it, black, but That didn't stand up to anything, it's resting away. Yeah. Well, there you go. Here's a tip for you. If you got a bare metal spot like this where you ground some rust down or whatever, you're done with it, and you want to protect it from rusting further, and you're thinking about just taking a convenient can of this cheapo parts store primer and priming it out, then don't waste your time. Even if it says stuff like this, like stops rust, because primer, this stuff is like water based and it is not water tight. It will pass moisture, so no matter how many coats of this crap you put on here, the water, the moisture in the air is going to find its way through there to the bare metal below, and it's going to rust, just keep on rusting. So you're just wasting your time doing stuff like this. I mean, I'm going to do this, but I'm doing it and then I'm putting another coat of paint over it. Paint, not primer. So you can get stuff like epoxy primer or sealer primer, which is a lot more expensive, and I don't sell that at the parts store. So yeah, it'll stop rust maybe for about a day or so. So anyway, just a little tip for you if you're thinking about priming it out. So I'm going along and taking my grinder and I'm grinding down these rust spots that are scattered around this truck in different spots. And it's not so much just to fix it, it's just to get the rust stopped and hopefully keep it from spreading and getting worse, and try to keep it rested, I guess you could say. I found some Bondo back here, a little place where the paint was cracking. Don't know what happened there, but it doesn't seem to be very extensive. I ain't gonna worry about it, especially with this pink dent back here. So anyway, that's what I'm doing, just going around and doing that and sort of, like I said, making it a little better. And a fair amount over here, still gotta work on that a little bit more. And prime it, and then I got some epoxy appliance paint I bought several years ago that color's kind of strange and sort of a grayish color, but it's got sort of like this paint here has, sort of a, I guess you call this a pearl effect in it. So maybe it'll match fairly well, because I'm not going to buy any other paint for it. I'll just use what I got. Well, my debris pile is getting bigger and bigger. Hey, well, today I'm spending time going through this truck's mechanicals, and unfortunately it doesn't seem to have any glaring problems with it mechanically, but of course I ran into the usual neglect, and I got the battery box out now. Yeah, I was telling you about this thing sort of cranks slow, too slow. I've had these engines before and this one doesn't start. It doesn't spin as fast as it should. So I suspected these battery cable ends. Somebody has placed the originals with these cheapos, and my suspicions proved to be correct, because this one, I took off the battery, it was not even tight on the battery, and you see it's kind of wrapped around, and real nice job there. And the other end goes down to the frame down there, but it's got one that comes off right here and goes over to here, or at least it used to. There's that end, and this end, that's all it was holding it. It just broke right off. So fortunately I picked up another cable. You seen that. Picked up another cable to Junkyard, but that end just fell right off there. It wasn't even tight enough to stay on by itself. It's on the ground someplace down there. And this one, there we go. I did not loosen that or anything. You see, look at that. Okay. So I don't have another cable for this one yet. I'm still looking, but that had to be. Well, that's a nice job there. Very nice job. And I changed the oil in it, and I'm going to replace that battery box and the hold downs, get rid of the shoestring, Well, they're keeping this road hot today, Labor Day. And I noticed this truck had a new water pump on it. And I can guarantee you that they only did that when they were forced into it, because I took the cap off and this just got water in it. And see that crap there, that's residue of stop leak. So they stop leaked it as long as it would go, and then finally put a new water pump on it. But did they put antifreeze back in it? Nope. That's too much money, because we got redneck priorities. You guys remember me talking about redneck priorities, don't you? And the list of redneck priorities, the top 3 are cell phones, cigarettes, and beer. And then anything like a functioning vehicle, or paying bills, or rent to have a place to live, that's optional. We'll do that if we can. If we got anything left. If we got anything left after the top 3, we'll think about the rest of it. See ya. Okay, another update. Got the oil and filter changed on this old truck, and the oil filter was finger tight on it. I don't know how that ended up not leaking all the oil out, but luckily it didn't. And the oil looked like it had not been changed in about 15,000 miles, which is no surprise. So I changed that. It's all good to go. The other day I put on my new used Grille. I had to modify my mounting points that were broken here, here, and here with zip ties, and then I drilled new holes on the bottom, 3 on each side and 3 here, to a total of 6, and zip tied this thing to that frame so that this bottom doesn't flop around as much, maybe give it a fighting chance of staying together for a while. So fixed all the battery cables and everything. It still turns over a little slow, so that's not normal. I'm probably gonna have to end up going into that starter situation at some point if the battery's okay. I'm not sure which is the culprit right now, but anyway, we're about winding this thing down. It's still got to have some tires put on it at some point, and a muffler, and figure out why I smell gas fumes underneath it and things like that, but we'll get there with that. I just got done replacing the wrong lugs that were on it. I went to the junkyard and got several sets of lugs. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 that were the wrong ones. There's 4 different kinds of lugs here. 5 there, 3 there, 2 there, and 1 oddball there. And then there were 3 that were totally missing that I had to install. So did that, and also there's a stud broken off on the right front. So just basic redneck maintenance, or lack of. And the interior has come along pretty good. I was finished rebuilding this seat, and it's not perfect. You see more metal on this side than there's supposed to, because like I said, this is a passenger side seat cushion that I made fit in here, and it's also not the right shade. I noticed a lot more of these trucks are this darker gray than they are the lighter one, but I don't care. It sits nice. It's a little bit higher on the outside, but that's no problem, because this is where you lean over to get out. So that'll probably sink in some anyway. And the carpet's, it's usable. Took this center seat out and replaced this console assembly because I found a nicer one in the junkyard, so I did that. Just cleaned. I put on my door seals and ended up having 2 different types of door seals for some reason. You can't make this stuff up. One of them, this original style, has a lip that comes over this trim right here, and this one didn't. And the other one that I bought used does, but it ended up having a gap about that wide between the ends of it down there. This makes me so mad. You know what I want to do? I want to just rake a piece of this dashboard off. Like that. But anyway, it's now time to hit the road. I'm driving around locally and do some shakedown miles on it. And I have an idea about this that I'm probably going to do if something doesn't blow up or sling out or fall off or otherwise disable this thing and render it unusable. Then if it keeps running, I have an idea about this, and I'm not going to tell you what it is, but something to kind of set it off a little bit from just a humdrum truck. Kind of personalize it a little bit. You know, because this truck's to the point it'll never be nice. This is never going to be a nice truck. It just is what it is. And it's sort of a blank canvas, so to speak. So we'll see what we get into with this. Maybe I ought to chrome it out. Nah, do something different. We'll do something else. Thanks for watching.